is resting at your lotus feet. I'm at peace at your lotus feet. My mind is quiet at your lotus feet. I am free.
So many years I've been asking questions, in Satsang and about self and freedom and the ego and personality and memory and decision, surrender, and why it's so difficult, why do we go back, and so on. And over the years I have reflected on these. I cannot say I really reflected on the questions, because just as the questions come, somehow the answers come like this, quite naturally. But sometimes, just like naturally, they just illuminate. Some questions come, and now something came, and it says, people ask, what stops me? What blocks me from seeing? And I say, in so many different ways, your attention is still caught up on the person and all of these things. But now it just kind of arose very smoothly inside that simply the one who is ready simply awakens. It's just like this. And all these things about, what stops me, nothing stops you. Nothing stops you. And nothing can stop you. Just you're not ready to allow yourself to see or to come to that. So there's no blame. In fact, there's something so spacious about it. The one who is ready will spontaneously awake, because it's not anything to do with difficulty. Maybe I should meditate more. Maybe I'm not sincere enough, and just now it came like this. The one who's ready simply will find absolutely no obstacle, so to speak. Just somehow it will become clear. Maybe all the things we speak about this also have their own truths in a way. Say, yes, it's true. One gives too much importance to this, but why do you give so much importance to this or that? Because that is still inside you, to give too much importance to this thing or that thing. So while this movement is still there, the game of apparently obstacles and waking up and trying and all of this continue to play this dream. One moment it's not there, and you make no effort, but the seeing confirms itself, just like that.
Is it possible that it also comes from a sort of tiredness or exhaustion? Because it takes a lot of energy to keep the attention on certain things and on mind and person.
No. What I'm saying actually is, does it take any energy to be hungry? And when you're hungry, does it take any energy to feed yourself? Does it take any energy to be tired? And when you're tired, does it take any energy to fall asleep? When you're in love with someone, does it take energy to love them? Is there any obstacle to loving them? Is there any techniques to loving them? It simply happens, everything is smooth, no? But on the left of this or the right of this, there may be some things like, yeah, I want things to be like this, I want things to be like that, and that energy also has its own, bear its own fruit. Does it take any energy to be what you are right now? Because this is natural. It's almost like a book of your activities is already written. Without any effort, you're fulfilling it. You turn to the light, to the left, to the right, you go underneath, you bend, you stand up, you jump, you fall. But everything naturally. But suppose the book was opened before and it says tomorrow in the morning, first thing, you'll get up suddenly. The next second, the phone will ring, and then you had to try and make it happen. Would it happen? I don't know. You don't need it. Is it? So forget about it. It's just happening what is happening, and that. It's just something that just arose like this now, in just a simple way. Is there anything you can do to speed it up? Well, why would you want to? Maybe your wanting to speed it up is not genuine. So it just doesn't happen. You understand? It's something so exquisite. Maybe I shouldn't talk so much about it.
Is it like every desire that arises, they need to exhaust themselves by themselves?
I don't really know what I'm saying here. Just an illumination is clear for a moment to explain it, because in the living of it, somehow I might say, yes, every desire that comes, should we just fulfill it? And I said, no, I don't want to think about it, because some desires will come and I'll throw them out. And that's the destiny of that also.
There is desire that they're ready to be thrown.
Yes.
And
So
there is desire that almost you can't escape them.
Yes. So without knowing anything, everything happens appropriately. The mind wants to bet on the game. Like an horse race, it's not yet run. The mind wants to put money on it. Why? Because that's the game it plays. The thing is going to be the thing anyway, but right now you don't know it. And you want to forecast and say, yes, I think this one is going to win and that one's going to win. So that's the game that it can be played like that. But you're betting on this horse or that horse doesn't make it any more likely to win or not. Because the one who's going to win is going to win. The one who's going to be second will be second. The one who is going to fall is going to fall. It's like it's completely independent of, of the speculations about it. You see? But that's also not an expression of consciousness. Also. And what do we say about this now? Do we just throw our hands up and say, what's the point of anything? Might as well just forget about everything and just do what I want to do. Well, if that is your destiny, you will do it. If it is not your destiny, it will just be your destiny to say that. And find that in another few minutes, you pick up the Avadutta again. And you start to read and contemplate.
You always tell us to be quiet. And it always starts deeply. And I had this insight that to be quiet is the same as stay as the self.
Yes. Well, that's a beautiful listening. If you hear be quiet is the same as staying as the self, then that is the highest response to that statement, If somebody say, be quiet, he says, okay, don't talk. Don't say anything. That's one way of hearing it. Another one said, be quiet means, well, don't follow anything from your mind. Let it all just move, just like clouds passing in the sky. Don't try to direct them. Don't push any along. Don't have any intention. So stay without intention can be another way of responding to this statement. Keep quiet. And sometimes keep quiet without waiting. Keep quiet without waiting. Then there's subtlety. However subtle any statement is made, something inside can correspond and can respond also to that statement appropriately. You see, stay quiet, but don't be waiting. It's a language of the spirit, like heard inside, no? And you say, stay quiet is synonymous with just being the self. Then, what more to say about that? Because the mind comes up and then begins to invite a certain movement which is unnecessary, you know, to say, come and do this, let's go and do this, let's look at this or something. But from the place of your own contemplation, you think, but why would I want to do this? Will it take me more to being me? Or is it taking me somehow into a kind of state of distraction from myself? A little bit later on, a deepening maturity is present, and that thought wouldn't have any space to express itself meaningfully. Like, or any thought could arise, but they have no impact. They have no firepower. You understand? So therefore, if a thought comes, it has no significance. It has no weight. It has no pull. It has no attraction. Then effectively, it's as though the thought never came. You see? It's like going to the supermarket with no money. You can look around at everything, but you cannot buy anything. I love to hear what you say when you say that. Keeping quiet is the same as being the self. Thank you so much. Now, is the self being the self? Before the thought arose, it had no meaning to the self. Are you being yourself? Before the thought arose, it meant nothing, except if you were distracted from and was imagining yourself to be something else. And then the thought come, are you being yourself? You may say, actually, no, I was kind of somehow projecting some kind of idea and identity about myself. And when the words came, are you yourself? Are you being yourself? Or who are you? Suddenly it threw something back into where it is never possible for it not to be, except imagine itself to be something different. But those words will not be coming from the self. These are very subtle things. These are very subtle things. These are the things you have to zip yourself in your sleeping bag for. Have we ever done that? You can do it without a sleeping bag. But zip yourself inside a sleeping bag of your own contemplation. Means leave everything out. You cannot take anything in the sleeping bag. This bag. but you don't go in the sleeping bag to sleep. Everybody else goes in the sleeping bag to sleep, but you don't go in the sleeping bag to sleep.
I think once you said it's a waking bag.
The power of satsang is to remove you, remove the you which is unstable, the idea of self, to move it out of the seat of being. When I say let everything happen, it means also if you feel this thing should not go any further, it's also letting everything happen, because your own heart's response is part of the happening also. It's not that only let things happen to you. No. Also let everything happen means also inside it doesn't feel to carry action. No, this cannot go anything. And that's also natural. That's letting things happen also. Like not letting things happen is also letting them happen.
Mooji, when you're involved in many activity in the day and dealing with many things and just like buying tons of sand or whatever, and then you're alone in your room, is this still going on in your mind for a bit, or it drops as soon as you...
It drops. But I tell you what happened now. For many years, I do not know how many actually, but I have a feeling that I couldn't think. I just couldn't think about anything. You know? It's not a problem, of course, but it was at this time, really, I don't know what made me feel like I am me, because, you know, it's like if you save space, space was allowed to feel the sense of presence. That's how my life was like this. Just imagine that there's not a me. Let's not start with a me. Let's start with space. There's just space. And space was allowed to feel the sense of presence. My life feel like that. Then also the body's there. And for quite a long time, I could get into deep sleep, deep state of sleep, but still be conscious. You know? It's just like this. I didn't do any yoga, nothing like that, you know. But I would go to sleep, close my eyes. And the reason why I can say this, because I had a few accounts of being woken up because my body's snoring, you know. And then, you know, some shaking, so shake me. And a few times I answered very clearly, you know, I'm sorry to disturb you. It's just, I'm not with my body right now. I'm contemplating something, but, you know, okay, I'm sorry, you know. So then for a bit, the snoring stopped. Then it goes on again, but it's like happening independent. Like it's just the body is snoring or something, you know. The phone may ring in those days, maybe at different times in the morning. And I could answer the phone, speak very clearly, very much not taken up, not waking up feeling groggy or something, and oh no, the phone, no, I can't go back to sleep. None of these things will happen. Could completely have a conversation for 10 minutes, you know, in that unaltered state. And when the conversation is finished, the phone goes back, and it's like there's no break in the continuity of my being. Like that. This was how it was for a very long time. And then there's a certain period of my life, I cannot remember, it was like about 4 years. I have no recollection of these 4 years at all. Apart from, I know that they must have happened. But because I would say that I don't think I grew physically older. I really don't feel I had. I had nothing that had like appointments and so on that made time real for me. So, because there's no time, like there was no life, you know, yeah, if I can put it like that. So, and then somehow I met one friend, one girl from Jamaica, my brother, a friend of my brother, you know. He said, you know, a friend is coming to London and she wants to meet you, and so I met her, you know. I said, okay, they should come, you know, and I met her, you know. And then we sort of met and we got on immediately, something beautiful, you know. And so I had some feelings, we had some feelings for each other like this. And because of this, brought me back into time. I never had anything like this. And brought me back into feeling about, like conscious feeling, you know, like that. And then I saw that it must be an instrument of the Supreme Will that I should start to feel these things. Because after this, I started to meet many people, and they just to come to me and talk about relationships and stuff like this. Now, if I had not, that didn't happen somehow, I'm sure that these people wouldn't have happened either. It's like it was time to have this ministering of, you know, interactions with people again. But I did not really have any life that I could speak about. If you don't have any appointments, you don't have, I mean, you see people, but when you leave them, you don't leave with any real change to your state or something like that. I didn't really want anything. In fact, I didn't really want anything from them. I sort of met them just through the life meeting, you know. So that was really quite so. I had no diary that I wrote anything down. I have nothing that I can explain where I've been. If the government should catch me and say, where have you been for these 4 years? You know, I say, I really don't know, you know, I really don't know, I'm sorry, or something. So, but now the life is very different. At the moment, I can say in one way, and yet not different. It's very different outwardly because we're here and still, I mean, from the days of India, I remember someone in India saying, after Satsang, you know, like, you know, it's amazing that I thought that the life, that your life was so quiet and so peaceful and so on. But when we see how you and your team move here, you know, because you speak about peace, but you guys are always working in India, you know, like this. And I said, well, actually, to be honest with you, this peace is the peace you should know. Because if you only know the peace when you're quiet and you're not moving about and you can light some incense and sit in your room and take the phone off, that is also peace. But this is peace like on the front line. This is peace. We're here actually doing everything to serve you, your discovery of peace, and we seem unpeaceful because we have to do so many things. But also the activity does not make us unpeaceful. You see. But something like this has happened. Now would I say, I wish I was back in those days when really I could get up when I want. I don't remember, but I still don't remember how my day went. If you ask me about today even, what did you do this morning? I have to stop and really research something. Yesterday, forget about it completely. You know, it's like, I really would not, I mean, if my life depended on it, I would give it a go. I would try or something. But I don't have the mechanism of really recalling what happened. It just seems ridiculous thing somehow. And yet, strange enough, you may ask me about something, and amazingly I may tell you some incredible detail about it. But just to say, through my mind, yesterday morning, what time did you get up? I would just think, my God, I'd feel immediately just tired. Like, I can't climb this hill, please, sorry, just ask me a question about consciousness or something. Don't ask me to remember, after this, I don't even know if even this, I don't know what it is. It is like that. Now, that may sound a terrible thing for people for whom, if you have an identity, then you need to remember your identity, otherwise it just vanishes. If you don't remember your identity, it will go. In the West also, many people, they give you a 2 or 3 weeks holiday or 4 weeks holiday a year. I don't know what people get these days. And, if they were to spend 5 weeks or something, they maybe don't want to go back to work. You just lose that contact. If you spend, 5 weeks really without thinking, you don't want to go back to thinking at all. Even 1 week after, you don't want to go back. Say, my God, why? I could have lived so much without thinking and been such a beautiful place. Why would I want to go back? So these things, we have to keep exercising thought in order to be a person. Otherwise, you can't keep it up. It takes effort to be a person. It takes no effort to be the self. But when you are a person, it takes great amount of effort to have even a glimpse, one breath in the self. You see. And now so many things, somebody thought, must do this, must do this. Somehow it seems to go on. I don't feel anything can change. Even to say this is ridiculous, to change what is. It would be like saying, imagine a cloud is a piece of cotton wool and you're going to erase the sky with it. It's a completely ridiculous thing. So why would you even have a thought like that? I mean, it just could not happen. Is it possible to, fall back into a state of delusion or something like this? You better not say no. Just say, I don't know. I don't know. What is possible? I don't know anything at all. I don't know what delusion is. I don't know what I is. Fall back into, I don't know what you mean. Fall back into anything. I didn't come here. I found myself here. I've never done anything to be what I am. I seem to have done a great deal to be what I'm not. But even that I didn't do. It is like something, but the perfect understanding I would call like that. It's like something has switched off something. Something has been switched off. Maybe identity or something, I don't know. But all the senses are still functioning. Something has been switched off. A switch has been flicked or something. The I switch. The I-me switch. But the senses are still functioning, the body is still functioning, thirst is felt, everything is felt, emotions are felt, everything is felt. But in a very new, different way. Nobody owns them.
Gigi,
Hmm.
how do you relate to when you do wrong then?
How do you relate to?
Yeah, to another person. It's like
To another presence.
yes, with another presence. Yes, not a person.
Yes.
Not a person.
Yeah. I'm only relating to presence. But often relating to presence, in the imagination it's a person. And another part of this answer would be completely spontaneously. It's the one thing that doesn't need any rehearsal. Here, when you try to rehearse something, then you discover what clumsiness is. And when you don't rehearse, everything is a spontaneity, you know. Even if you're half asleep and somehow the decision came, you know, okay, so what is your decision, sir? What is your decision? About what? Have you not been listening? No. We've discussed this, and that, and now it's time to do. Okay, I think this is so. It will come out. Something will come out, and it will be appropriate. I'm giving worse examples, you know, like you're asleep, you know, and they're deciding your fate about something, and you're snoring away, and somehow you're awake, and then a decision has to be made. Put your worst case scenarios up. Anyway, you don't even need them. You don't need to, because it's a kind of rehearsal. Leave everything. Leave everything alone. Well, that thing really is exquisite. As not having to be somebody. Absence of somebodyness. Just such a superfine. Perhaps all of this universal play, all of it completely. To go through all this diversity, the full spectrum of possibility of experiences, the senses, the mind, imagination, memory, desires, attachments, fears, aspirations, heavens and hells and everything. This was at the end to wring the entire manifestation into your tongue of this pure essence. One taste of the nectar on the tongue of being. Maybe God had to become an addict for God's own joy juice. Try everything and somehow to get one. That wakes you up into yourself. I don't see anything that is comparable. And then on top of this, to not have to dismiss the world even. You see? To see it in the world, to be in it is here in it. Like the world is like the coconut. You say, oh, somebody show you a coconut, but it's no use to you. You know, you cannot eat that. You have to open that bit, and inside is another thing. You can't eat that either. You have to break that, and you drink the water. And you have to break that, and you get to the flesh. Yes. And it's like this, something. Like the world, the physicality of it is like somehow this coconut, the outer coconut or something. But the juice is inside it. You have to find the juice. You don't curse the coconut. You have to find the juice in it. You have to find a way to find the juice in him. And everything in the coconut somehow is to protect this juice and this flesh. Somehow. And yet every part of the coconut is useful for something. Understand? Every part of the coconut, every part, in fact, it's a good tree. Every part of the coconut, every part of the coconut tree is good for something. The root is good, the body is good, the leaves are good, the spine of the leaves are good.
And you can survive on coconut alone.
Yeah.
You can survive.
It's just like from the really beginning, you know there is water in it.
Yes. Yeah. Does the water know the tree? This is where the coconut example is not complete, because everything springs from the self. It's like true knowledge is a little bit like deconstructing identity. Not just identity, but the faith in identity, belief in identity. Because the effect of identity can only come with a belief in identity. And this is the sleeping pill for the being. The best way to really be in something like this is to really completely drop all notions of the self. Don't listen like philosophers or something. Don't call yourself anything. Be completely empty. So let just the listening be. Don't put a uniform on the listener or on the listening. Then everything goes to the right place. I feel like saying, like, have we always been, or are we always in form? Are we continuously in form, meaning in the form of a self or an identity? You can open the questions up in many different, it has different rooms to this question anyway. I don't know if anybody can answer that question, but the question itself invites a deeper seeing, you see. Since how long have you been? Don't answer any philosophical thing, you know. Rely only upon yourself. Rely only upon your own being. Don't say anything you might have read. How long have you been? What is your real age? Are we as old as this planet? Are we newcomers here? Were you before this planet even? So this is giving you a question which is a little bit like a rice diet. You will not be able to give immediate answers about it. It's going to slow down time for you very nicely, and you're going to have to just be with the question, not with the answer yet. So it's a rice question. How old are you? Who was your first mother? Have you always been female or male? Do you remember these things? Why you keep coming back? If you left here, why you keep, what brought you back? By choice or by some involuntary power? What's the best use of this life you have now? How much credit you have? Is we something that knows the body, not the body that knows the something. Does the knower of the body have to be in the body to know the body? Or to know presence? Or to know itself? Without the body, who are we? Where are you? The best thing is to ask, is to say to these questions, please go to the place where you are meant to go in me, and undo me there. Sometimes the questions, well, these questions are far more important than the answers. Invite and give space to these questions to open up their own mystery. Unless you invite and respect these questions, the answers will only be mental for you. But show gratitude for the questions itself. And they will illumine the mind.
Can I ask a question?
Mm.
When inquiry goes on, it does feel like there's some kind of it seems like when I inquire, it seems like some sensation of going back, of going
Yeah.
in and to a place where it's not physical, like I can say it's a shoulder or something, but it's a sensation of going, like going back or in, down, but there's no sense. It has some kind of space to it. And it's space like locality.
Like a cavity?
No, locality.
Locality.
Yes.
Yes, because actually you say that it's not physical, but it has a physicality to it also. It does have some, it does cause some manifestation in its physical expression also. And that gives a sense of a kind of locality, because you only know yourself in the position of here-ness. So the locality will feel here. You cannot be there. So something, it feels like, as you said, you're falling inwards. Like you're falling inwards, either deeper or further back or something. A sensation is there like that. And the witnessing of the sensation is also present. Witnessing of the sensation of the sense of falling back. But that which witnesses it is not falling back. But some falling backness is important. It's a very important part of the response to this question, because it opens up space inside that was once been, in a way filled by a kind of personal noise. So it sort of burps out the person, and only the space, the absence of the presence of a person is there. You see, and that space is filled with a sense of presence. It's a presence, not personal, but it's felt inside the body being, like that. Still, then but witnessing of this is also here. Witnessing of this, so which is greater, the sensation that occurs and is witnessed, or the witnessing of it, or even the witness of the witnessing even. You see? Don't give it to the mind. You come to a point, to a stillness that is immeasurable. It has no distance. It has no distance now. It's not falling back anymore. It's more that it's expanding. An expansiveness is present, you see. And there's a stillness. See? When you come to this point inside now, concepts become meaningless for you. Surface knowledge about things, becomes completely irrelevant for you. They lose their taste altogether. You see, when placed against the taste of this, the tasteless taste of this, it's everything is washed open. You see, And it's not there's further to go. No, this itch to go further is replaced by a sense of completeness and a deep peace and satisfaction inside your soul. You see? And then the mind cannot multiply here. It cannot multiply. It is stung into silence. It becomes silence. And that is referred to as what is. And not what is becoming, but what is. And it is indefinable. It can only be known, it cannot be shared. But in its presence, all the beings feel that they've had a deep sharing, and their thirst is quenched, their hunger is satisfied, and they are at peace again. And there's such a quiet, and this quiet and the vastness, they are one. And love is present, and it is also one. And knowingness is present, and it is also one. And whatever else shows up inside that is also one, is also the one. Beyond even the concept of oneness is there. Turn your face again towards the field of concepts, and you'll see that it's a dry field. It's empty. It's empty. You'll not go there for any shopping. You won't have any needs there. You have no more needs inside yourself. No needs are there at all. Yeah. All the beings from all the places, even the demons, come to have the chance to prostrate here. Because in front of that, so awestruck are them that the demons themselves will begin to sing hymns and bhajans to that. So I said, don't let your mind label this and give some label of future to this, or that is something to come or something, because it's timeless. So what is timeless is it's here. It is what is, and a fascination developed for what is transient, which is also consciousness, an aspect of consciousness. But here we are here to really develop our powers of discernment so that we can turn the attention away from what is passing and rest it inside that which is unpassing. Then just through that simple action, you may say, the choice in the being, then everything else becomes automatic. What is automatic to you, we call it grace. We don't have a better way of saying what that is. We have to call it grace. You see? Just as I say, while the food is in your mouth, You have the choice to chew it, and this power you have, it's in your control. But once you swallow, it's out of your control. Another process is taken over. You see, when you surrender like that, then it goes past the throat and it's not in your control anymore. You leave it. It's still inside you, but that part of ourselves that needs to control, that part now is past. Very good. Okay.